Welcome back to another episode. I am Sticks. This is my best friend and co-host D-Lo, and we are Too Complex. We apologize for last week, man. We had some technical difficulties, but we back right now. But before we get into the conversation, we need you to like the video, hit that subscribe button because we still on that pace. We're almost there. We're still on that pace for 450 subscribers. And we also need you to hit that notification bell so you miss none of these bangers.
Yes,
that
sir.
We drop every single week, man. D-Lo,
yes,
man.
We back.
Oh, we back, man. Last week was a disappointment, but we got better processes this time. We got better processes. We done upgraded on y'all niggas. We done upgraded on y'all. So we
they
good.
Won't be able
so
to
we
tell,
straight.
But it's all good.
No, they won't, but cool. It's gonna be straight. But D-Lo, man, how was the past week? Shit, 2 weeks, really. Think about it. Yeah. How was the past 2 weeks, bro?
Internet don't want us to be great, huh? They trying to hold us back. Nah, but the last 2 weeks was good. Internet. Nah, it's probably. I'm sure it's some type of issue on both sides.
We know what it was. We
figured it
we ain't
out,
gonna talk about it, but we know what it was.
Yeah. But last 2 weeks were good. As always, spent time with the family. My wife has taken the challenge of. Remember when I said we need to get out and do more with our lives and whatnot? She said, "Okay, say less." So we have been out and about and doing things that I typically would not do, and we can talk about that later. But last 2 weeks have been good, other than the little mishap we had with the internet or whatever happened, and we couldn't upload or get our stuff, our content off to edit and upload. But other than that, last 2 weeks have been pretty good. What about you?
Man, everything's been straight, man. Same thing. Couple of internet issues, but other than that, the job has been great. It's kind of speedballing through this licensing process with the new job, with the insurance sales. So everything's gonna be cool there. About to go through the exam prep now here in the next couple of weeks. So that's gonna be dope. I can't wait to get into that, man, because I'm getting tired of just being in the office and just all I'm doing is studying and doing modules and licensing classes and lessons and just put me in front of the people, bro. You'll see I can sell this shit.
You in that probation phase that we talked about on multiple
we talked about that.
Podcasts.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We did. But this probation phase is, I feel like I'm for real locked up. I ain't gonna monitor some more shit, but because, bro, I'd be like, can I please just go shadow somebody or something? But I'd be in there on the computer, writing down notes. Lesson here, lesson on this screen, lesson on that screen. Like, what the heck? But it's good though. Because I'm learning what I need to do, and I'm like picking people's brains in the office and making sure I'm on different meetings and stuff on Skype and WebEx and all these things. So it's good, but I'm a salesman, so I'm like, let me do it. You know what I'm saying? Just let me do it. But and I'm an athlete too, so I learn with doing. So the more I do it, the better I'm gonna get. So, but that's just how it is, though. That's just how
the thing I appreciate about you, and I don't think a lot of our listeners or viewers will appreciate or notice, is that you are vulnerable in the sense that you give up a lot of information. No, I wouldn't say a lot, but you give up a good portion of information about your personal life that I don't think most podcasters in our space would do. Like when I say our space, like in our position, we're still regular 9-to-5ers. Unless they're talking specifically about the industry that they're in or whatever the case is, they're probably not going to talk about what they do in their personal life as far as work and all of that. But whereas you went through the mishaps, you talked about that openly to a degree. Now you're going through this whole new process. You went through a couple of processes that you talked about openly with work. And you talked about it good. And then now you're going through this here. I appreciate that because it's a level of vulnerability that I don't have right now. I probably never will have. Just you're private, just like I am, but you are also willing to share a little bit more than me too. So that's just a level of vulnerability I appreciate that, bro. I don't have. I appreciate that, dog.
And I'm just an honest person, and I feel like it gives the content, and it gives the listener a little bit more of an insight of who we are, or who I am. To say, I mess with them. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because they just authentic and genuine type. You know what I'm saying?
They regular cats just like us. Or me.
Cats just like us, man.
Yeah.
We regular too. I'm regular as hell. What you think?
Well, no, I'm saying if I'm putting myself in the listener's point of
Oh
view.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
They
yeah,
would
yeah,
say
yeah.
they're regular people just like
Just
me.
like
And
me. Yeah,
if
yeah,
they
yeah.
don't have a podcast or whatever the case is. But speaking
Yeah.
of level of vulnerability, I will share this vulnerability.
Hey
We've
man,
talked
talk
multiple
about it.
times. We've
Talk
talked
about it.
multiple times about me not really fooling with Halloween, me not really fooling with scary
Scary
movies and stuff like
movies.
that.
Yeah.
And so, like I said earlier, my wife has taken on the challenge of making sure that we get out and about and do things that I typically wouldn't do, or just get me out of the house because I'm a homebody, I'm a hermit, I'm a crab, whatever the case is. Anything, a turtle in its shell, all that type of stuff,
All that.
all that isolated, secluded animals, all that. That's who I am. But anyway, so we went to it's called Scarowinds. So I live in Charlotte, North Carolina. And so Carowinds, during Halloween season, they changed it to Scarowinds. So at night, they have haunted houses and shit like that. I don't really fool with that. I've never been
I
to a
know you
haunted
don't fool
house.
with it.
I've never been to a haunted house, never done any of that stuff. It's not in my blood. I don't really rock with that.
Yeah.
But anyway, we
Yeah.
went to it last night and it was a good time. I will say I did go into a haunted house. And what I realized about me is that I'm not really scared of that stuff. I just don't like somebody jumping in my face and trying to get a reaction out of me. Because it's typical when you go in there like, okay, somebody gonna be right here around this corner. Oh, there you go. Oh, but it's not really that
Right.
they scare you. It's the fact that they're jumping in your face. So you're like, oh shit. Now this one cat did get me though, because he jumped out before we actually walked through the door. He jumped out of it. It was like I don't know. He had a pig mask and all that stuff on, and he was like, rah! I'm like, oh, and so my wife said she really enjoyed that because it was the first time that I went to a haunted house with her. Just she was there, and then the reaction she says, I've never seen you react like that. That was amusing. It's like, man, get out of here.
Nah, because that's good for that's good for y'all to share, man. Especially being in a marriage, technically still new marriage. You still
Yeah.
in a phase where you learning. You gonna learn every single year, every single day about each other. But it gives your spouse an insight of something that she's never seen before. So it's
Yeah.
like that shit is dope. And just like I told you, bro, like me being all the way out here in Washington. Washington ain't got nothing like that, bro. Like Washington is very like watered
I'm
down.
sure
And,
they do though.
they don't. Okay, that's a lie.
Maybe
Because
not an amusement park, but they probably
some,
have like
they have something called, I forget what it's called, but it's like a kind of like it's more risque than it is like scary, so to speak. But it's like gothic kind of. It's not my style. I would much rather have scare wins, to be perfectly honest with you. And that's like, dang, bro. Like I'm jealous because my lady and her kids went. You went with your lady, and it's like with your wife, and it's like, dang, bro. Like I wish I was there to do it because scary movies, scary is my thing. Oh yeah, it is your lady though. You know, what I'm saying different content.
I don't know how you got into scary. I mean, but you don't like
love
Halloween,
it,
but you like scary stuff. That's what's weird
the
to me.
reason why is because it's hilarious to me. Because it's just like you said, it's all so predictable. So whenever I'm watching a scary movie, whether it's something paranormal, something like Freddy or Jason, like that's like slasher type, or a lot of it's very predictable. And people have historically called me a psychopath or a sociopath because I can sit there and not be scared, but laugh hysterically at scary stuff. So like it's my that other than like comedy and action, horror movies and horror things is like the very close third genre to like the type of movies I like to watch. So it's like, bruh, I wish I could go to Carowinds, bro. Like that's because I've never been to Carowinds. Well, no, that's a lie. I've been to Carowinds one time, but I've never been to Carowinds.
You probably was 12 when you went.
No, I was older. It was like late 20s the last time I went. The one time and the last time I went was like late 20s. But bruh, I have never been to Carowinds, and I wanted to go. I just never had anybody or anything significant to go with. And whenever I was, late 20s, Sam was still very, very young. So she wasn't really into the scary like she is now, because she's into scary too. I swear that little girl is just like me. But well, she ain't little no more. That young woman is just like me. Right. So it's like, oh, man, I
still don't fool with it though. So I say all that to say, like, I've learned a lot about myself. Like I can endure that stuff, and I can do it if I wanted to. I still don't fool with it. Like I may never go again. I may never go again, just because I just don't like the feeling of somebody having some type of, well, yeah, I know my wife is gonna force me to go because she
Not even
loves
that. I'm
Halloween.
talking about if I come back, y'all going.
Nigga, all right.
You going
Anyway,
with me,
so
dog. You going with
listen,
me.
I just don't like the fact that, I don't like that feeling of somebody in my face, because my reactions sometimes, like, I can't control them
Hostile.
sometimes. Yeah, like I can't control them sometimes. Like I'm cool, calm, and collected, but you put me under the right setting, and who knows? Who knows
You
what I'm gonna
ready
go
to,
through with
you know
that?
what I'm saying?
So I still don't
Ready
really
to
fool with
square
it.
up.
It's cool. I'm glad the wife had fun. I'm glad a lot of people enjoy doing that, but it's just not my thing. I still don't really get down with that.
I would love it, bro. I can't wait to come back and go, bro. Matter of fact,
Yeah.
I'm planning something, but I'll let you know about that later.
All right.
Anyway, but getting into the actual content, actual topics, my G, we have something going on with the end. Well, before we get into that, let's talk about something that happened this past weekend, or this past Sunday, with Steve Smith and Jerry Jeudy, and what happened between them, because it's starting to look like a lot of athletes in general, but professional athletes for sure, can't take constructive criticism. So just in case y'all don't know, what happened was Steve Smith was talking about first round draft pick Jerry Jeudy, who plays wide receiver for the Denver Broncos, and he was calling him a jag, which is antonym for just another guy. And he didn't live up to the expectation that a lot of people think he should have with a high first round pick. And does he have a point? Yeah, because but I don't think that's a lot of Jerry Jeudy's fault, to me personally.
Yeah.
Because being in the organization that he's in with the Denver Broncos, and he's actually a really good wide receiver, but he just hasn't had he hasn't had the quarterback consistency that he should have. They haven't had much of a running game in a very long time. So he just in a situation where that offense just isn't moving the way that it probably should. But it's to a point where there's a lot of players who can't accept criticism, and I want to say it's just this new generation, because with us, when we were coming up, we were a little bit different in the way that we took coaching and took the way that we learned different things about the game and about life itself. The generation that Jerry Jeudy is in, a lot of stuff, the way I feel is a lot of stuff was given to a lot of these newer athletes these days, where social media is in the mix, and the AAU and the Pop Warner circuit is a little bit different. And a lot of these kids who are megastars, whenever they were coming up in high school or Pop Warner high school and the college ball, a lot of things were given to them, and they were coddled in a lot of ways. We weren't coddled at all. We had our ass beat every single day. Like I remember you remember, like 2 a days, sometimes 3 days. And everything was a competition as far as your position. Like some of these guys now don't got to work for nothing. And the criticism portion of it they don't take it well, because they've never heard anybody tell them, oh, nah, nigga, you ass. Like this game, you were ass. This is what you need to work on, or you're not looking so good this season. You need to work on this, or you need to step your game up. They're not used to hearing that. Yeah. They used to hearing, oh, now you straight, you gonna get it together. Don't worry about it. I
challenge that a bit though.
What's up? Talk about it.
I challenge the fact that everything's being given to them, because these athletes today definitely put in the work to be where they are, whether they are professional or amateur athletes. I mean, you do have your one case or off case scenarios, or rare cases where you have just a naturally gifted athlete who doesn't do any work, doesn't do the work necessary to be who they are. But for the most part, you do have athletes today putting in the work to be in the position that they are. I think the caveat to all of this is social media. It is the good and the bad of social media. So they can use social media to promote themselves as
Mm-hmm.
top tier athletes. But social media can also be used to tear them down as well. You know, we've
Mm-hmm.
always heard they like to build you up to break you down, and
Yeah.
social media is in fact that. And so I just, that's the only thing I really challenge is that portion of it, is that I don't think they have been coddled to a degree. You know, when you do have a top tier athlete, because this generation is a bit different from generations past,
Mm-hmm.
where you can't really tell them much negativity, or they'll go into their
They'll
shell.
they'll break down. Yeah.
They'll break down. Um, so I do think they are coddled to that degree. But as far as them everything being given to them, I wouldn't necessarily say that.
But so I would say in a sense, like, I think it's different the way, because we gonna get into a young man here later, that the basketball phenom. We're gonna get into him, but
Mhm.
I think it's a difference in the way that they're. I don't want to disparage nothing that they've been through or how they were raised or how they were brought up, but
Mhm.
it's like so many yes men around people these days, to where nobody's holding anybody accountable, or nobody's giving anybody that type of tough love that we came up in. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? So again, a lot of what Jerry Jeudy is going through right now with the Denver Broncos is a lot of things he can't control. It's a lot of uncontrollables that he has with that organization that he just can't control. He
Right.
has his first couple of years, he had Drew Lock, who was ass. Then
Mhm.
now he's got Russell Wilson, who's on the back end of his career, who ain't playing well. So it's
Mhm.
like it's a lot of things he can't control. And is he just another guy? No, he's a professional athlete. He's a high performing professional athlete. He just has things he can't control that is working against him right now. And I don't agree with the just another guy statement, but the way that Jerry Jeudy responded to the criticism,
Mhm.
that's what I don't agree with. Because and I'm gonna let you talk about it, because you mentioned this when we were talking about topics earlier in the week, but Steve Smith is a person who you can learn from. He was not just another guy. He was a superstar wide receiver with the Carolina Panthers, and a little bit when he went to the Ravens
Mhm.
before he was on the back end of his career. So you can talk to him and learn something from Steve Smith. But like I say, these athletes now in this generation don't want to listen to the older guy. But I'm gonna let you talk about that. What you think about that?
No, I agree with that. I think athletes in general, because in America, athletes are put on such a high pedestal. They're seen as, basically not human to a degree, especially if you're a top tier athlete.
Yep.
So Steve Smith called, and we're talking about Jerry Jeudy and Steve Smith in this situation, but you can really input any analyst or any sports talk person and a athlete in this situation, and you'll get the same thing. Like you've had these feuds go on for quite some time. It's
Mm-hmm.
just that social media is big on promoting that stuff, because that's what sells. Drama sells. And
Drama
so
sells.
when
Yep.
you have this type of drama that you can put out there and get people like us to talk about it, or just get people to look at your page a little bit more, then that's what they're going to promote. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Jerry Jeudy is just another guy. However, his stats for the last however long he's been in the league, now he's been playing well this year, I believe. I haven't watched, but he's been playing well. His stats
Mm-hmm.
have shown otherwise. His stats have shown he is just another guy. But just like you
Yeah.
mentioned, he's been in a situation where the offense hasn't clicked. He's had a couple of different head coaches as well as offensive coordinators.
Mm-hmm.
And then, two quarterbacks. So Drew Lock, who I is not. So in the NFL, you have to have the quarterback is the key to the offense, or is the key to the team in general. If you have a good quarterback, you always have a chance to win in the NFL. If you
Mm-hmm.
don't have a good quarterback, well, you'll probably be one of them bottom tier teams, and that's what
Mm-hmm.
Denver has been. Is their defense has historically been good,
Mm-hmm.
but the quarterback, ever since Peyton Manning left, it's been pretty non-existent. So they've had Drew Lock, who isn't that good, and Russell Wilson, who had his glory years in Seattle, and now in Denver, it looks like he's not going to be in the league too much longer. And that's natural. You want to give Russell some time to, we want to give him some acknowledgement that he did do great things in this league, but at some point in time, it's going to be like, all right, Russ, we gave you those opportunities. Now we're going to look for somebody else, or maybe he's just in the same boat. He has going through different offensive coordinators, and he's not really. It doesn't fit who he is as a quarterback. I don't know, but anyway, needless to say, Jerry Jeudy has been numbers wise just another guy. I think the issue is that athletes are so tired of the constant criticism, the constant praise, whatever the case is. And nobody likes too much of anything. Like, too much of anything can be detrimental to you. Right. And so with social media, like I mentioned earlier, being the good and the bad, it allows everybody to have an opinion of what you do because sports is such a public entity in the United States. And so
true.
I think what happens with professional athletes is you have all of these former athletes, whether they were top tier athletes or bottom tier athletes, now going into broadcasting and being highly critical of them. They're not taking any personal shots that I know of, but they're being highly critical of certain athletes' performances. And in this case, Steve Smith was saying, like, on his podcast, because he also has a podcast where he talks about football and sports in general and different things, but mostly sports. Mostly football. And he was rating Jerry Jeudy. And this wasn't recent. I think it was like last year or so. He was rating Jerry Jeudy. And he was saying that's when he's saying he was just another guy. Well, like I said, I believe Jerry Jeudy has been playing better this year. And to what Steve Smith was saying was he was going to him to apologize and say, listen, I know I said some things that were critical of you, but it looks like you're starting to turn it around. And that's when it all feuded. And Jerry Jeudy was like, man, I don't F with you.
Ninja,
so on and so forth. Yeah, Steve still said ninja, but we know what he said.
Yeah.
And so it made it a big ordeal. And then so that's when Steve Smith went back on the broadcast and was like,
all right,
listen, I'm sorry that I said this and that, but you want to act like that. Now I'm gonna tell you what the real is. And honestly, Steve Smith is, when it comes to rating receivers, there's no better person currently in broadcasting, I believe, that rates better receivers than he does.
I can concede that. I can see that.
He said when Cooper Kupp was coming out that Cooper Kupp was the best receiver in that class. Looking to be true. Other than injuries, it's looking to be true. He said that he thinks the receiver from the Ravens is probably one of the better receivers that was in last year's draft. I think, what's his name? He went to Boston College. I can't think of his name.
I can't remember.
Number 4 now. Yeah. He's number 4 for the Ravens. Can you look that up real quick? But he said he was one of the better receivers, and I think that's going to pan out well for his takes as well. So there's no better person that talks about receivers when it comes to the talent that receivers
John
have.
Pierre-Paul?
No,
Jason
no.
Pierre. No, not Jason. Not JPP.
No.
That's, what the heck?
Number 4. He's number 4 for the Ravens. I can't remember. I'm mad. I can't remember his name. Things like Tay something.
Zay Flowers?
Zay Flowers, yeah. Yep. Zay Flowers. Says Zay Flowers is probably one to be the best receivers in that last year's draft, and we'll see in a few years. But I think he's
29
right
receptions,
as well.
317 yards, averages 10 yards per catch. He's not doing bad.
So I mean, I feel like athletes these days are tired of the constant criticism, but especially when it comes from former athletes. And I can understand that if it was me and you that were the ones that are criticizing these athletes, like, bro, you haven't been to where I've been. You can't, the professional athletes, that is, you have no right to say the stuff that you're saying, or anybody that's on social media, whether that's X, which is now Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, anything, like to share their opinions about an athlete's performance, and they have not actually been to been a professional athlete. I feel like they're growing tired of that. But when you're talking about professional athletes and Hall of Fame type athlete as well, I feel like when they're saying something about you, you should not take into consideration of when they said it or how they said it, but what they're saying, because you could use that as a way of reaching out to get some guidance from them. Because a lot of these older athletes, there are some that will not help you. They don't want to They just want to do what they do. They don't want to help. But there are more than a few that will say, yeah. So let's set up some time to talk about XYZ. And you could build that relationship. But I mean, I know I went on long there, but yeah, I feel like athletes, especially professional athletes, the younger ones, they can't take constructive criticism because it is the amount of criticism that they get that they see all the time, rather than who it's coming from.
Yeah, I can dig it. And just to your point, real quick, and we're gonna move on to the next topic. And I swear we find a way to get this motherfucker in here every time. But it's kind of
I was gonna say it too, but I didn't.
Yeah,
I left it out.
But it's like the Kareem and LeBron situation where Kareem just wanted to be him and play with his grandkids and just not even want to be, a part of anything when it came to the NBA after he was out of it. So even whenever LeBron was trying to get with Kareem and talk to him and try to get advice, Kareem was like, nah, that's just not my area of expertise. I'm not that type of motivational type of guy. He wasn't that type of guy when he was in the league either. So it kind of makes sense that he was like that afterwards. But I think Steve Smith is that type of guy who you can go to say, hey, let's network. Let's have conversations every once in a while. So you can tell me what you see and, how I can get better, how I can get back on the performance that you think that I should be at, since you think I'm a Jag. Tell me how I can not be a Jag. And I think he's that type. And, and again, it's not what you say, but how you say it. So, and I live by that. I live by the fact that, if you want to say something, project it, the way you would want to receive it, so to speak. And I don't think what Steve Smith said on his podcast, I don't think he said it any type of way, but just like D-Lo said, it's like a lot of something can be detrimental. So if he's been receiving that same type of backlash from fans on social media, just regular everyday people that ain't got no stake in the game, it's not a Steve Smith who hasn't played in the league. If you getting that from them, and then now you also getting it from Steve Smith, who may have that Jag, he probably took it a different type of way, which he probably should, because I don't think he's a Jag, and I don't think Jerry Jeudy thinks he's just another guy. But if you're hearing this over and over and over and over again, it's going to annoy you. And I'm the same way. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But
everybody's the same way.
Yeah. And if it's a regular person, then you can take that you can handle that how you want to handle it. But somebody like Steve Smith, who can give you constructive criticism and actually like teach you something, which this only being I think this is his third year in the league. Because he came out the same year as CeeDee Lamb. So yeah, this is his third year in the league. So this being your third year, you're not living up to the expectations that somebody who's a Hall of Famer thinks that you should be living up to, then talk to him and see how you can live up to that expectation, see what you can do better. But I think all in all, the criticism talk it's hard for a lot of this next generation to take that criticism. It's hard for some people in general to take criticism. But we'll see.
But you got to think about it though. This is the last thing I'll say. Is how you have to think about it with the criticism that they are taking and how they feel about it is, again, we'll go back to social media. Some people feel like, or everybody feels like, no matter how many followers you have, it's going out to the whole world. So I can put something out about you, positive or negative, and you're going to feel some type of way because you feel like, okay, yeah, he has 2,000 followers. I don't know how many followers I got. 2,000 followers, but I feel like that's going out to the whole world, for the whole world to see. So you're going to feel some type of way about it. Not let alone somebody like Steve Smith, who has a big following. He's saying these things about you. They're going out to his hundreds of thousands of followers, subscribers, millions maybe. And now those individuals will take his train of thought and now look at you in a different light and project it on you. And so now those individuals will take their train of thought of who their followers are, put it on their followers. And so it's like a ripple effect. And so now you feel like the whole world is against you because of what one person said that had a big following.
I'm going to combat that a little bit though, because that's why I think me and Jerry Jeudy are a little bit different, because I'm the type that's going to see it. And so say for instance, I'm in Jerry Jeudy's situation, and I'm not just saying this for the sake of our conversation or the sake of argument. I'm saying this because this is who I am, right? I feel like if I saw, say Steve Smith tweets that to 2 million followers, right? Mm-hmm. And he says, I think Charles Futrell is just another guy. He's not, he's just this guy. And he was drafted high, but he didn't live up to expectation. And then it got retweeted and reposted and shared and retweeted. And I'm seeing it. I'm the type of guy that's going to go to Steve Smith and be like, yo, why do you feel this way about me? Like, talk to me real quick. Like, let me know what you think is the reason why I'm a Jag, and I'm going to work on it. It's the same thing with you. If you my best friend, you got 2,000 followers and you say it and it's getting reposted and retweeted and shared and liked and whatever, I'm going to come to you the same way. It don't matter if you got 2 million or 2,000. I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to go to the horse's mouth and say, look, why do you feel this way? Give me your insight and I can work on some things and get to the next level. And that's what I think that's what a lot of athletes or people in general need to have, that kind of thought process, because if somebody thinks this about you and you keep hearing it, and people, a lot of people have the same thought process as you, something about it has got to be true. If multiple people are saying it, it's got to be true in some kind of way. So try to figure out where the truth is and fix it. But that's just my thought process, though. You feel me?
No, I got you. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But anyway, getting into the next topic, to the meat and potatoes of the episode. We're talking about NIL, man, and the way that NIL is taking over the college landscape, to be perfectly honest with you. And it's to the point now where not only are these kids that are already in college making millions of dollars off their name, image, and likeness, we've got high quality 4- and 5-star recruits asking for $5,000 just to visit the university to maybe sign a letter of intent and commit to your college. D-Lo, what do you think about these kids asking for five racks to come on a visit?
I want to say it, but I can't say it in the same fashion that Nip said. But young brother get paid. Young brother get
paid.
You know, these young boys are making a quick come up off of professional sports, and rightfully so. I mean, indeed. For so long, it has been that NCAA has been able to take advantage of collegiate athletes and become who they are today as the behemoth that is the National Collegiate Athletic Association. And off the backs of prominent athletes without a promise of anything but a college education. And that is questionable in itself in many ways, because, some may not graduate. Some may not be able to do the major that they want to do, or do a major that will pay them, show them a way of making a better living for themselves if they don't make it to the professional sport of their respective sport. So for them now for it all to be flipped on its head to a degree and say, all right, so professional, they might as well be professional. College athletes can now ask for or make money off of their name, image, and likeness, but also coming into college, they can say, well, I'm only going to come if you give me $5,000. I think it's great, because it to a degree, but I think it's great because it does allow them to make money off of their name and understand their worth. And that's what it seems like right now, that they're understanding their worth. What about you? What's your thoughts on it?
I think the same, because it's been decades it's been 50, 60 years prior to here over the past 3 or 4 years now, where name, image, and likeness has been prominent. And it's been decades since the NCAA has been, and I'm gonna say this with air quotes, taking advantage of the name, image, and likeness of these high quality players that have gone on and done great things for the universities, have gone on and been great in the NFL. So They have their jerseys in the student union and in the shops for these respective colleges. They're using them on billboards to promote the team. They're doing all of these things, and none of these players. I was subject to it. I was on the billboard in Durham, North Carolina, and I didn't get paid for that. So it's like. They're using these gentlemen, these star quality athletes at their universities, and they're using them for promotion. They're using them for advertisement. They're using their name, image, and likeness for a lot of different things. And here recently, these kids have been able to take advantage of it and make millions of dollars. Now, I was reading an article while I was doing my research about Nick Saban, and Nick Saban has been critical of the name, image, and likeness since it started. He was talking about how it's going to be how it's going to end up tarnishing the NCAA. He made comments about Jimbo Fisher buying his recruiting class at Texas A&M whenever he left to go from Florida State. Like it's and just using this money for not the purpose that it's meant for. And he made a statement. He was like, "What did you expect? Like this is exactly what I was talking about." That was probably going to happen when we started implementing this name, image, and likeness 3-4 years ago. He was like, it's going exactly where a lot of people thought it was going to go. And that's not to tarnish the name, image, and likeness in these kids that are using it to their advantage, but that's basically what Nick Saban was saying. And if Nick Saban is the head coach of Alabama, if for those who don't know that watch our platform. But
one of the greatest coaches,
college coaches of all time, for sure. But that's basically what Nick Saban was saying, is that there are going to be some kids that take advantage of the name, image, and likeness, and taking advantage. I think they should take advantage of it in a sense that they should profit off of it. But what he's saying is on the adverse side of that is that they're taking advantage of it and are, doing it in a bad way. Like they're just they're using it. Oh, I'm a 4-star recruit. If you want me to come, you gonna give me this bread. You know what I'm saying? It's just it's the negative of it that Nick Saban is saying. But just like D-Lo said, man, young brother, get paid, because y'all literally deserve this. It's video games that you can profit off of that they're using your name, image, and likeness for. It's so many things that these kids are saying, hey, I can do this now if you pay me. Like, right. and I don't blame them. I'm 100% for NIL. I love it. I love it for these kids.
As far as the Nick Saban comment, like I said, he is one of the greatest coaches of all time. But how do I say this?
Just say it
without saying it crazy.
Just say it.
So we know that college coaches, there are some college coaches and programs that have notoriously been speculated before NIL of paying athletes to come to their schools. You always hear it with SEC schools and some of the other bigger name schools out there, whether that is the USCs, which we talked about Reggie Bush, but it wasn't necessarily USC that was paying him. I'm not saying
all these schools with these Power Fives,
the Power is a lot of Power 5 schools that their names have been floated with paying athletes. I've said this on the podcast multiple times as well. The movies like The Program, the Blue Chips, and those type of movies, this stuff is not made up. They're getting it from somewhere, actual events that have happened. And so for Nick Saban to say that,
was a great movie too, I ain't gonna lie.
And Blue Chip, with Shaquille O'Neal and Anthony Hardaway, or Penny as he's better known as. But for Nick Saban to say that when so many speculations have come out, nothing has ever been proven. I will say that.
Yeah.
But with so many speculations about how Alabama gets the type of recruits that they do on an ongoing basis. Now, Nick Saban is also, on the flip side of it, known for being a notorious recruiter as well. But, it's never really a down year for Alabama. It seems like it's one this year, and it's probably because of NIL, he would say. But, there's never really a down year for them. But for him to say that about the NIL and it's going to be the tarnishing of the NCAA is kind of like, okay, it's like a catch-22, but I think it's great for the kids. Now it does come at a little bit of detriment because now with the NIL and also the transfer portal, you have athletes that are like you and I when we were coming out of high school, 2-star recruits, stuff like that may not get the same opportunities that we would have had we been, if we played in this day and age, had we not come out, or versus when we did actually come out, when NIL wasn't a thing. And so that's what you're starting to see a lot of, is you're starting to see a lot of those type of athletes, those lower tier athletes, not get the looks that they typically would, because now, not on top of the fact that you have some high profile or proven athletes that are leaving from one school to go to the next, in college, you also have the money aspect of it, where colleges are now having to pay top tier recruits, whether they are already in college, JUCO players, or top tier high school recruits, you're having to pay them to come. So it's like, well, if I have to do all of this, these lower tier athletes are getting put to the wayside. And those opportunities for them are very limited. So, I mean, there is some detriment to it, and that could be a part of it. But for the average Joe, or for coaches in positions like Nick Saban, who makes more than $10 million a year, to be upset that I wouldn't say he's upset. I'll say that. I don't think he's upset. I think he's trying to be like future focusing, but to say anything against athletes making or attempting to make money off of their name, image, and likeness, their worth, air quotes, I'll say air quotes, so those that are listening can understand what I'm doing. To understand their worth is like, bro, you're in the wrong for that aspect of it.
Yeah, that's a fact. And I'm just make this point real quick. Bro, if I had transfer portal, bro, I promise you I would have been in that joint. I would have been in that joint ASAP. Because if you think about it, a lot of just like D'Lo said, me and him coming out of high school being, 2-star recruits. You might have been even 3-star. I don't know.
I was
being
2.
too modest. You was 2.
Okay, I was 2, bro.
I was 2 too. So it's like being a 2-star recruit and getting it. And I was a quarterback all my life until I got to college. And me being 6'6" at the time, maybe 200 pounds, maybe on a good day where I ate and didn't take a shit, maybe 200 pounds. But if you think about it, like my up until my sophomore season was ass, but my junior year was pretty good. But if you look at it just on paper, 6'6", 200, good hands, runs high 4.3, low 4.4 40 time, and like I think I could have leveraged myself and went somewhere else with that transfer portal. Don't get me wrong, NCCU, I love y'all. Y'all my alumni, Eagles all day. I love it. I loved my HBCU experience. I wouldn't trade it for the world. But I will say that if I could have transferred to even East, I'm gonna just say ECU for a bigger program, but not something that I'm gonna get ahead of myself like a Clemson or something like that, or UNC.
At the time, Duke balling out this year, but at the time,
Duke was bottom of the barrel in the ACC. So okay, I'm gonna say Duke. If I could have leveraged what I did on paper to get to Duke and have a better program, a little bit more publicity, just get to be out there a little bit more, I think that I would probably still be in the NFL not right now, because this would be like my 17th year or 14th. 16th year, but I probably would have been out a long time ago. But I would have made more of an impact in my NFL career than I made just coming straight out of NCCU. But NCCU still provided me that opportunity, so I love it regardless. But the resources that these kids have now, amazing, and I wish I had it. No, but to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, again, I don't understand why there's such a negative view on athletes getting paid, whether that be from the NIL or on official visits. I understand why universities are upset, because now they have to give out more money. They have to dish out more money when it comes to, because they are so I don't know if you said this or not, but so they're getting did you say $5,000 for official visits?
Yeah.
Okay. So they're requesting $5,000 to come on an official visit, and every athlete gets 4 official visits that they can go on. So if you ask, as a top tier athlete, if you ask for $5,000 or probably more, that's probably just the average. We always talk about averages. But if you're asking for $5,000 to go on every official visit that you go on, that's a quick $20,000.
$20K. That's your first car.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Easily. So you can buy a car, you can give it to some of it to mom and dad to get them out a little bit of debt that they may or may not, that they may have. You can make down payment on a small home or condo for college. Stunt, get you some clothes, some gear, whatnot, so you ready when you go to college. Even though most athletes wear, team issue stuff most times.
Most of the time.
I know
Yeah, I
most of
did
it.
all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
All the
So
time.
you wear team issues, but when you go out on the weekends or whenever,
that's what I spent my money on right there.
Yeah,
when I was in college,
shoes, exactly. You can
shoot, that's
stunt.
all I spent it on. Yeah, you can stunt.
Yeah. So I mean, so it is a quick come up, but I don't understand why we, as living in a capitalist society, are upset about that.
That's a fact.
When that is the true essence of America, is we live off capitalism, and most people will say people make what they are worth. And these athletes are trying to now take what they're worth, because for so long they were not afforded that opportunity to do it. They were not afforded the ability to make money off of what they were worth while they were in college. And yeah, everybody says, well, they're getting an education. They have the potential to make it to the NFL, where they can make millions of dollars and more potentially while they're there. Every athlete is not promised to make it to the NFL or the NBA, because I know you all have heard it multiple times. Less than 1% makes it.
Less than
but
1%.
More than that, you talked about 4 and 5 star athletes that the schools are making money off of, that do make it to the league. But there are also 4 and 5 star athletes that have these horrendous or terrible injuries that they have, that don't allow them to play after maybe their first year of playing. And so not only do they have to go through that memories and those thoughts for the rest of their lives of, well, dang, I was this top tier athlete and I got injured and now I can't make money off of what I've known my whole life. But they also have to deal with the injuries. The NCAA doesn't help them with that. They don't help you take care of yourself after you get hurt. So, of course, if I can strike while the iron's hot now, if I can get money off of people wanting me to come play for their school now, I'm going to take advantage of it, just like anybody else would. Yeah, the education is good. You and I both got great degrees from top tier universities. However, it's only so much that you can do with that at the time. And again, you might not even be able to do the degree that you want to. I know many that were in that situation. I was in that situation. I wanted to do computer science. They said I had to do communications.
I was in computer science. I had to switch mine to math. It's like, and you sent me a clip of Coach Prime earlier in the week where you have to figure out a way to treat these guys like men. Exactly. And if football, basketball, soccer, tennis, whatever you play in college, if it don't work out, what's the next move? What's your plan? Because you can make all this money off your NIL as of right now, but what are you doing with it if this football thing don't work out? Yeah. So you got to have a plan. All these guys got to have some kind of plan if their respective sport don't work out, and hopefully they do. So we're gonna see, man. But I think the NIL, the 5K at the minimum is great if that is the average, but we'll see where it goes from here, man. And Nick Saban, man, man, you let these kids do what they doing, man. Stop talking about the NIL like it's a bad thing. It ain't a bad thing, man.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing when it comes to the kids making money off of their name, image, and likeness. It is a bad thing when we talk about the amount of opportunities that there are actually out there for kids that are coming out of high school to get an opportunity that they're probably not getting now, that they probably could have gotten back in the day before NIL, by going to college, and as well as you put the transfer portal in there with the NIL. So now those opportunities are limited, but it's not. I don't think it's a bad thing as far as them making money off their name. However, I do think there will be some type of legislation or some type of way to rein it back in as much as they can. Yeah. Now that it's there, you can never truly bring it back in because it's just going to be so much. But yeah, it
needs to be tapered a little bit. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, so the Washington Redskins trying to change their name. Oh, I'm sorry. The Washington Commanders trying to change their name back to the Washington Redskins?
Bruh, it's crazy.
It's crazy, D-Lo. So a story came out a couple weeks ago that the Washington Commanders are being sued by the Native American Guardian Association to have them change their name back. Really, that was a part of it, but they were really being sued because the Commanders said that they weren't a real organization, nonprofit organization.
Mm-hmm.
Six, what's your thoughts on this? And do you think the Commanders will change their name back to the Redskins?
So I'm going to answer the second question first. No, I don't think they're going to do it.
Okay.
The reason why I don't think they're going to do it is because it costs a lot of money to rebrand. Now, us, we rebranded. It didn't cost us nothing because we a small, quote unquote, business, small organization, whatever, right? But something like the organization of a national football team, you got to think about a lot of different things when you talk about branding. You got to think about the uniforms. You got to think about you got to think, man, it's so much that goes on with rebranding an organization than people think. Now, I don't think they did it 3 years ago. They're not doing it again another 3 years later. They're not. I don't believe they will, just because of a small organization saying that they thought it was, they respected it and it was honoring an actual chief back in the day and this, that, and the third. Cool, all well and good. Now, as far as the whole thing with with NAGA, which sounds very familiar to something else, but we're not going to get into that. With NAGA, it does. We're talking about the Native American Guardians Association. When we talk about them, like you said, the reason why they're suing is because the Guardians, as well as the Native American, what was it? Let me find it. The
National Congress of American
Congress of American Indians, they questioned the legitimacy of NAGA.
And the commanders,
yes. Well,
you said the Guardians, my bad.
The Guardians is MLB, but the commanders and the NCAI, National Congress of American Indians, they questioned the legitimacy of NAGA, but the NCAI was really the ones that said, hey, this is kind of, it's profane. It might be looked at as a slur to Indians across the world. A lot of Indians have said they don't like the term redskin, yada, yada, yada. So that's why they went in and changed it, because a lot of larger organizations care about the character of the organization and how it's being viewed. So they're not, they're going to, and most times whenever it comes to inclusivity, they're going to lower their standard to that most times, because they want to be looked at as inclusive. They want to be looked at as a quality organization. So they're going to kind of, coddle into that a little bit, and respectfully so, because, I've heard people think that redskin was kind of a slur or derogatory in some sense back in the day too. So understandable. Even with the logo, it had a Indian logo with redder skin than, what it would be, what would actually be the depiction of a Indian person in America or any person in general. So I just think it's funny.
Native American would be the correct term.
Appreciate you for correcting that. Let's not do that. YouTube, I'm sorry.
Or have any confusion.
I apologize to whoever took that wrong, and YouTube, don't you do it. Don't you do it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just think it's funny, because it's like it's two different organizations. One saying it is derogatory, one saying that they love it and they think it's great. And whose side should we be on? Like, is it derogatory? Is it not? Is it a slur or is it not? Do you love it or don't you? Like, what side should we be on? I think the Commanders are going to keep it the way they have it, and just be kind of in the middle of it, like just not take a side at all. But what you think, D-Lo? What side you on?
You said a lot there. So first and foremost, I also do not think they will change it back to the Redskins. They may change their name, though, because they just recently have new ownership. Magic Johnson is involved with that. He is a minority owner for the Washington Commanders currently. And I think when the purchase first went through, somebody, a part of that group, made some suggestion that they may change the name, which then sparked a lot of, we can change it back to the Redskins, and petitions and whatnot have gone out. So no, I don't think they're going to change it back to the Redskins, but they may change their name. I also, you mentioned that who do we believe? And the NCIA, again, National Congress of American Indians, and then also the Washington Redskins questioned the legitimacy of the Native American Guardians Association. It just, that portion there proves to me, with who to believe in. You have two parties within the same group of people or collective of people not coming to the same agreement. That proves to me that no group of individuals are the same. Nobody thinks the same, or they're not the monolith, right? So we hear it all the time when we talk about the Black community, when people try to box us into one particular group or one particular thought process. You hear people saying Black people aren't a monolith. So, same goes for Native Americans. They're not a monolith. They may think differently. So you do have individuals, along with individuals in the Native American community as well as outside, that believe that is a derogatory term. But then you do have individuals that are inside the Native American Association, or Native Americans, that believe that is not a derogatory. And I think the National Guardians Association, National Native American Guardians Association, they came out with a statement that said, let me see if I can find it. So they were talking about the National Congress of American Indians, and they say, as the self-proclaimed voice of Native Americans everywhere, NCIA and the commanders did more to attack NAGA's integrity. They silenced over 90% of Native Americans who disagree with them. They also silenced America. So NAGA, again, the Native American Guardian Association, feels like they represent more than 90% of the voices of Native Americans, whereas, but they were only established in 2017. Whereas the NCIA was established back in the 60s or 70s, I believe. I don't know the exact time, but I know they've been well established now. So for NAGA to feel like they are responsible, or they represent 90% of the voices for Native Americans, and then also for
1944 NCAA was
40s, I'm
established.
Sorry, the 40s. Yeah. Okay, so they've been well established, but for the NCIA to be as established as they are, and not to be considered as the voice, only self-proclaimed voice, but not the actual voice of Native Americans, is kind of like, well, yeah, who am I supposed to believe here? But it's just to me, it would be the most ironic situation ever for the Commanders to have changed their name from the Redskins to the Commanders, because so many individuals, not only Native Americans, but other ethnicity groups, said this is a derogatory term, but actual members in the Native American community are like, not really. We don't really feel that way. So, you guys, that actual Redskin was an actual person. His name was Chief Whitecalf. And so they're saying when the Redskins were the Redskins, when they went out on the field, they represented us, and we actually felt like they were holding the true to Chief Whitecalf's name. And now you're changing it from the Redskins because other groups are saying this offensive, and we don't actually feel that way. And so now we feel some type of way because you don't think the group that's calling attention to it is true. So is a true group. So we're going to sue you for defamation of our name, but then also you can probably change that name back to the Redskins.
So what if they change the name to the Washington Whitecalves?
I don't think that'll happen. I don't think that'll happen.
I'm just being funny.
Yeah, no. I get it. No,
but if you really want to show, like, if you really want to show that kind of support for the person that it actually represented when it was the Redskins, because I do have some Washington Redskins fan, because I'm a Cowboys fan, and I got some teammates of mine that were at Central that were huge Redskins fans. So we talk every once in a while, and I think it would be dope for them to go back. Yeah, because there's some historical prominence to the name of the Washington Redskins.
Nostalgia, all that.
100%. And do I know any Native Americans who felt like it was derogatory? No. to be perfectly honest. But in a world of inclusivity, the Washington organization was kind of that their hand was put to the fire to change it, because you don't want to have that type of dark cloud over your organization. If somebody thinks it's derogatory, if somebody thinks it's a slur, if somebody thinks you're quote unquote racist, whenever you have something like that, we got to say it like that. Yeah, so if somebody thinks that about you, that, your organization has that type of cloud over it, then at some point you have to change that narrative. And that's what the Washington organization did. So, I mean, changing it back to the Redskins is probably not going to happen just off of a money standpoint as far as you rebranding. But if they do go back, I don't see a problem with it either. But we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. All right, Six. So, Mikey Williams,
bro.
You briefly mentioned it earlier that we would talk about a athlete that has faced a lot of praise and a lot of criticism in his amateur career. And Mikey Williams is one of those individuals. Well, it looks like he's gotten himself into a bit of a pickle these last couple of months. What's going on with Mikey Williams, man?
Bro, so in the early days of Too Complex, then Part of My Wisdom, we did a segment on Mikey that he was doing really, really well in the age of NIL, and the way that he was in high school already getting NIL deals. Most people don't get it. Most kids don't get NIL deals until they get to college, but he was one of the first ones to do it in high school. And up to the point where he started getting to these troubles, he was the third highest paid male athlete in NIL, standing at like $7 million in NIL deals.
It was more than that, wasn't it?
Because his net worth as of right now is $7 million.
Yeah, but the actual deal that he had from Puma was a 8-figure.
So it says, according to On3, Mikey Williams has an NIL evaluation of $3.3 million, net worth being $7 million.
I got you. So he okay. All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead. My bad. I mean, step on you.
No, you good. So it says he's the fourth highest. I'm sorry, I said third, but fourth highest number across all amateur athletes, and trails only Bronny James and Shedeur Sanders among Bronny James among basketball players, but Bronny James and Shedeur Sanders among male athletes in college, right? So he was doing well, was all over social media, was on ESPN at one point, and he was a phenom in high school. He's in his first year at Memphis right now, and he's going through a situation where now he is facing felony gun charges and faces 28 years in prison. And if y'all haven't heard what happened, it was a situation that happened at his home, and where he allegedly got into a disagreement with some people, and he told them, you better leave before something happened to you. And he as the people were leaving, he fired his firearm at their car. Didn't hit anybody, but fired the firearm at their car as they were driving away. My thing with this is that it kind of goes back to what I talked about as far as the Jerry Jeudy situation is. A lot of guys in this newer generation, and he's well younger than Jerry Jeudy, I think maybe 5 or 6 years younger than Jerry, but they're in that same generation, so to speak. And there's so many. All I can go to is back when we were coming up, right? And being in a town like Fayetteville, North Carolina, that is widely considered the hood, and that's widely considered the hood. And the things that I've seen growing up on Murchison Road, known as the Merc around the way, growing up in that area and being around a lot of different bad influences in my life, I had people around me that was like, nah, bro, they would grab me by my collar, like, you're not going over there. You the one that's going to make it out of this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not doing none of that. And I had people that would pull me from the direction I was trying to go and pull me in the direction that they know that I was that I was going to go.
You were destined to go.
That's what I was looking for, but I couldn't spit it out at the moment. But in the direction I was destined to go, right? Now, I don't believe that a lot of the younger generation have that. That's why I keep saying that these guys are coddled, because there's not a lot of role models in their lives that can say, bro, you got way too much to lose. You being stupid right now. Why are you even at 17, 18 years old carrying firearms in the first place? Why do you have this many guns in your home? Why are you getting into these scuffles with people who don't have as much to lose as you? Mm-hmm. And that's what we had growing up. Lord Jesus. That's what we had growing up. Me and you had those people that was going to grab you by your neck and say, bro, you being stupid right now. Stop doing this dumb shit. Right. And they don't have that. And it's so many, it's same thing with John Morant. He got so many yes men that are along for the ride that's going to just use his name and his money to have the fun that he's having because they're around him, and they're not telling him, bro, you got way too much to lose. Stop being stupid. Mm-hmm. Don't flash that gun on social media. Don't, because you're gonna lose a lot of money, and you're probably gonna lose your career because you're being dumb. That's what Mikey Williams is going to do right now. Is he had this persona about him, and this I'm so go so far as to say this arrogance about him that he was untouchable, and now he being touched. Pause. And it's just, bro, like, it's just so stupid to me. It's so dumb because you have this destiny that you're striving towards. You're a millionaire in high school, my nigga, and you about to go to Memphis, probably play 1 year, go to the league and make even more millions of dollars because he was that good of a basketball player. So like, why put your career in jeopardy being stupid? But what you think, D-Lo? What's going on? What's going on with Mikey, bro?
I mean, I think Mikey is caught between a rock and a hard place when it comes to the amount of attention that he was getting at such a young age. I think when we were talking, if I recall correctly, when we originally talked about Mikey Williams and his soar to what he is now, or what he was, I'll say was, because he hasn't really been. Has he been convicted of anything?
Not yet. He's just charged, right? He's just charged. His trial is at the end of this month. Yeah.
Okay. So what he is right now is Mikey Williams. That's a millionaire coming into college based off of the NIL deals. Like I said, he had deals that I know of with Puma, which was a 8-figure deal as a junior, senior in high school. So for him to have that coming out, that's a lot of attention on you. And, he's a decent looking kid. I'm sure he has a lot of attention from girls his age and older that are trying to get with him because of who he is, the amount of money he's had. So it's like a persona that he has to play, even if he's not this person, because of the amount of attention that's on him. And so, when we were young, we fell into the same trap, so to speak. Just like you said, we had people in our corner that were pointing us into our destiny and taking us away from where we wanted to go. And I don't know his full situation, but I think he comes from a single parent home, right? Yeah. So he what, does he have a stepdad too, though?
He does.
Okay. So then what I was going to say is null and void, but I don't know his full family dynamic. But, with him now being the breadwinner, air quotes again, of the family, bringing in that type of money, it's not much that your parents may feel like they can say to you if they're not stronger parents that want to see good come from you completely, right? If they just see, oh, he's making us money, it's not much that we can say. He's the parent of the house now. Then you're going to basically do what you want to do. And if you don't have those individuals in your corner that are pointing you in the right direction, whether that be a father figure, mother figure, or a friend that you look up to, a mentor, whatever the case is, if you don't have those individuals as a young kid making that type of money with that amount of attention, you're going to get yourself into some trouble and do things that you probably should not be doing because you don't know better. Like I mentioned when we talked about John Morant, the cognitive ability of humans does not fully develop until they're 25. Mikey Williams 19, so he still has some time. He still has some time for his full cognitive ability, where the logic comes from of making decisions, where that is housed. He still has some time for that to fully develop. So if he's making decisions on his own and he hasn't really matured, then You'll see these situations.
But in that sense, though, that's where that, just like you said, and kind of to my point was that's where you need that strong role model in your life to, since you can't make this decision on your own because you still got 6 years before that full brain starts to work, where the logic comes from. Then just like me, I had my Uncle G, I had my cousin James, I had Coach Harrington, who was my AAU basketball coach, I had Coach Butts, who was our high school coach. I had all those guys saying, bro, what are you doing?
Right.
What are you doing? Like you're not going to be in this situation longer than the next couple of years. And you trying to go over here and be with these dudes? No, go over there. Get on the court. Get on the field. Go do your homework. Go stop thinking the way you thinking. I don't believe he got that. And like you said,
I was in agreement with you on that.
Oh yeah, true. And it's like Mikey ain't got that. Mikey don't have that person that's going to be.
We don't know that though. We don't know that.
He can't. There's no way. To me, there's no way he has that, because if that was the case, he wouldn't have 6 felony gun charges right now if he had that.
Well, you can. So sometimes, and I'm not defending Mikey whatsoever, but sometimes you can have all of that and still rebel because, again,
true.
You like, okay, we'll stay with your example of using yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't making $3 million a year. You didn't have the amount of attention that Mikey Williams had all the time. So, while you had people in your corner telling you that you shouldn't be doing that, you were more amped to listen to them, those individuals, because you didn't have that amount of attention. You didn't have more people outside of that small group or circle of people that were telling you what you should be doing and not what you want to do, telling you, oh, well, I mean, you ain't got to listen to them, man. You Mikey Williams. So what I'm saying is, like, again, social media, I'm always going in this day and age, I'm always going to put some blame on
social media.
It's a great tool, but it's also that dark aspect of it, because we have such an influx of information and connectivity to everybody now that, if somebody's telling you what you don't want to hear, you can always go and find somebody that's going to tell you what you want to hear.
What you want to hear. True.
And so whether he might have those individuals in his corner saying, nah, man, you shouldn't be doing this, but it's that group of people that he wants to do what he want to do is saying, yeah, man, go ahead, be a thug.
You don't know what they talking about.
Guy, you know what I'm saying? But to him, that's, again, whether you got 2,000 subscribers or 2 million subscribers, that's his world. Social media is his world.
True.
It's his reality in his mind. It's his reality. So
true.
If he has a pocket of individuals within his following saying, yeah, man, that Mikey, I like when he act like this or whatever, that's the persona that he's going to play, because that's what he wants to see.
It's crazy you said, because I have it pulled up on the screen right here. He has 4 million followers on Instagram, 2.1 million on TikTok, and 90K on Twitter. That's,
you see what I'm saying?
That's 7 million followers. He gets $51,000 per Instagram post and $3,000 per TikTok, $215 per tweet. Not to mention his NIL deals and all of these other things he's got going on. So like, I see what D-Lo's saying as far as that influence where, social media is his life. He makes money off of his posts. He makes money off of his followers. He makes money off of his name, image, and likeness. But just to combat what you said in my situation, even if I was making say $1 million a year, even if I was making $500,000 a year,
right? I
don't think that would have stopped me, even in the social media age. But it's just it depends on the person. So I'm gonna retract a little bit.
It depends on the person.
It depends on the person, because I'm not real heavy on social media anyway, and social media didn't become prevalent. It didn't even become a thing until we were already in college. Right. That was like sophomore year of college whenever Facebook came into play. So it is a little bit different, because whenever you think about it, it's like for me,
Facebook came into play for you, because when I got there, they were allowing us to be in because they were doing all the Ivy League schools and all that, those type of schools.
PWIs.
No shot at you. No
No,
shot at you.
I know. I was at a HBCU. They ain't think about us as much whenever they were putting it out. It's all good. It's cool.
No shot. No. Okay. Shot. So you put it that way. No shot at HBCUs either.
No, I'm just messing. But it is a preference. It is a individual preference. So I can see what you're saying in that instance. But it's like, bro, it's got to be some thought in your mind that this is Mikey Williams has been preparing this since he was a kid. He knew he had some idea. I'm a baller. I'm one of the best players in the nation. Like, I'm going to go to the NBA. Let me not do nothing to fuck this up. And if he does have somebody in his corner that's saying, bro, you wildin', he got to say, okay, I already done thought I don't want to do nothing to fuck this up. These people, 1, 2, 3, maybe, well, I'm going to just say one person. This one person over here is the one person that's in my corner that's saying, bro, you got too much to lose. I don't want to lose this. Let me not do this. But again, in the world of social media, where there is that dark side that D-Lo was referring to, that you have this one person telling you don't do this, but you got 4 million people telling you to do it. And
or maybe not even that many.
True, but I'm just going off. Yeah, I'm just going off of, he's got 8 million followers on social media collectively. I'm just going off of that. But you got a lot of people in your other corner in your ear or on your phone telling you, "Hey, you Mikey Williams. What you mean? Right. Like, you can do what you want, bro. You making $7 million a year. Your net worth is $7 million. What he gonna tell you? He probably ain't even making 40K. What he gonna tell you? But that's a disease, bro. That's just a disease, dog. Like, but it depends on the person. I hope Mikey Williams. I have a strong feeling that he's not going to be convicted and he's going to be able to play ball and follow out his dream. I hope he doesn't, because he does have a lot of talent, and that would be a lot of talent wasted on his own fruition. But we're going to have to see what happens with Mikey, man, because it'll be a sad day. Because we were talking about him early in the podcast where we were like, we were congratulating him on the way he was talking on the I Am Athlete podcast. And like, he's a smart kid. He's got his head on straight. He knows what he want to do with his money. He knows where he want to go in life. And 2 years later, here we are. So, but things do change as people get older and they get a lot of different influences around them and they start getting this notoriety that they have. So, I mean, some people don't know how to handle it. Just like we talked about Johnny Manziel a couple of episodes back. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of hard for people to kind of handle fame, but we're gonna have to see with Mikey, man. I hope he does well, bro. I hope he gets off and he does well, bro. Attempted murder is crazy. I ain't gonna lie.
You said what?
That is crazy. Attempted murder is crazy.
Yeah.
Not that he was charged with that, but you shooting at people, so you attempting to hit. That's what I would think. So that's crazy. That's wild to me, dog. Yeah. That's wild. But moving into the next topic, man. So we did a small segment on this about a month back. The whole Carlee Russell situation, man, where she faked her own abduction and said that she was trying to be sex trafficked and all of these other things, right? She has officially been charged and is saying that she's going to actually appeal in circuit court to go in front of a jury. But she's got 2 misdemeanor charges: lying to the police about being kidnapped and seeing a child in the road in Hoover, Alabama. And she's facing up to a year in jail, in prison, and is going to pay almost a little over $19K in fines. D-Lo, man, what do you think about this whole situation with her pleading not guilty, and then secondly, with everything that's going on in the world around this Carlee Russell situation?
What is she pleading not guilty to?
Everything. She does not think she's guilty, bro, and it's crazy to me. But go ahead, do your thing.
And so she has admitted that everything was fake. Correct?
Yes. Okay. Yes.
So her pleading not guilty is outrageous, bananas.
Outrageous bananas, dog.
As far as everything that's coming with it, I think it's a step in the right direction as far as sending the correct message about if people in the future are to do this, these are the type of punishments that you will get. Because I mean, if you think about it, when Jussie Smollett basically did the same thing.
Smollett.
Smollett. when he did this, basically doing the same thing, he only got 150 days that he was supposed to serve in jail. What's 150? I mean, okay, I never want to go to jail.
Never.
So 150 days to me would be like, oh man, I got 150 days in jail. I'm never gonna do anything again.
5 months is crazy.
You know what I mean? But
right.
to an individual that really is, the individuals that think not logically and don't really, I don't want to say don't value their time, but that type of stuff doesn't affect them. 150 days is like, well, okay, whatever. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. So
Right.
I think this sends the correct message as far as if you do this type of stuff, you can get $19,000, which the average American does not even have $1,000 in their savings account of penalties that you can have. So you can get paid. You have to pay up to upwards of $19,000 in penalties, and then you are going to spend a year, or realistically, was 9.5 months in prison, because you only have to serve 80% of it in most cases. 9.5 months in prison. So I think it's a step in the right direction when it comes to that. And her to say no, that she's not guilty to all of it, something's not. And I say this lightly, something's not quite clicking in her brain.
There's a couple of wires that ain't connected, my boy.
Yeah,
there's a couple of wires.
Yeah.
Because it's like you put on this whole. The whole world was advocating for her. The whole world was advocating for her. The whole state and the town was looking for her. And her mom went on national TV lying, going crazy. And
wait, her mom knew about it too? Her mom knew it was fake too?
Yeah, but they went on TV.
Is her mom being charged?
No, mom is not being charged. Only Carlee's being charged. That's another issue. I was gonna get into that too, but I'm glad you said that. But her mom and her dad did an interview on national TV talking about how
the dad knew too.
Yes, bro. So it's like, dog. So mom and dad go on national TV doing interviews saying about how she fought for her life physically and mentally, and we're so glad that she's back home and she was abducted, and this is the story that she told, and we want everybody to know her story, and yada 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 yada. Then they show up in court with no accountability. No accountability. Even their lawyer has no accountability. Talking about, we agree with the charge with how much money she's going to have to spend as far as restitution and her charges and the fines that she's going to have to pay, but we need to handle her with kid gloves because we disagree with the sentencing. Nigga, what? She came out and said that she lied about this. We don't know her reasoning for lying, and I don't think we're ever going to hear her reasoning for lying because she's never going to own up to why she did it. I don't think she's ever going to have that level of accountability. But to say that you're to not accept the decision in appellate court, to say that you're not guilty and try to take it up to circuit court in front of a jury, I don't think there's
about what you can prove.
But what is there, D-Lo? But what is there to prove when she's already told everybody she lied?
Yeah, I know.
How can you prove that?
I guess she may feel like she has a better chance. If it goes to court, she has a better chance of not going to jail and not having to, or maybe getting a lesser sentence or something like that. But
technically, like you said, she's not going to have to serve that full year, that full 12 months in jail, and she's going to have to pay that restitution. But she's probably not going to pay it. She's probably going to, or as far as she's going to have to pay that, but she's probably not going to spend that whole 12 months in jail. She's probably going to spend, like you said, 8 or 9 months, and she's going to get right back out, even earlier with good behavior. So my thing is this: there's been, if you think about it, right? There was a case back in 2016, right? Sherry Papini did the same thing. She, a 40-year-old lady, did the same thing she did, was lying about her own abduction, lied to the FBI. She planned for months prior to her staging her abduction. Even had a driver drop her off on the side of the highway, bonded with self-inflicted wounds. And she got 18 months. Carlee Russell did basically the same thing that she did and is getting less time than she is, and also less fines because Mr. Papini had to pay $25,000 in restitution. So there's already a lack of accountability in that 7 years later. And then not to mention, there was a young lady, Chloe Stein, that 23 years old, that did the same thing a couple of months later, that the same thing that Carlee Russell did just because she didn't want to go back to college. So she staged her own abduction. She wasn't even charged. So there's a snowball effect that's happening with stuff like this. So I believe 100%. That Carlee needs to be held accountable regardless of how she feels, because you already said that you lied about it. You already have your charges. Hopefully circuit court was going to hold her accountable and say, look, you told us you lied. It was all a hoax. You had all of these people looking for you over some fake shit that you made up in your mind. No telling what it was for. Now, at least old girl that didn't want to go back to college said that's why she did it. I just don't want to go to college no more. I don't like it here. Okay, cool. But don't fake a kidnapping or an abduction for it. Just tell your parents you don't want to be in college no more. That's going to save them money. What you mean? But I just think I think it's the lack of accountability in this situation is astounding to me. Astounding. Like, bro, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? You lied and you staged it and you got caught. You got caught up. You had your parents in this whole situation. You got your lawyer in this bullshit now, and he doing it because he gonna get paid. So this is what it is with the lawyer. I'm just gonna put him on the side. But you got your mom and dad talking about how you fought for your life and how you were abducted, supposed to be trafficked and all this other stuff, and you fought your way out of there and you found your way home and yada yada yada. And her dad, bro. Carlee ain't paying her these restitution fines. This $20K, almost $20K that she got to pay, her dad gonna have to pay that, along with the lawyer fees. But it's like, bro, still. Like it's such a. I'm just gonna say it one more. I know it's like a broken record. This is the last time I'm gonna say this. The lack of accountability on Carlee and her mama is well, all three of them really, but Carlee in general is astounding, bro. Like, are you serious? Like, what are you expecting to get out of circuit court? You're gonna get fined. I believe she's going to be found guilty. The not guilty plea is Go ahead, D-Lo. I'm going to stop talking.
I have nothing else to say about it. I feel like this is the right message. So whatever the circuit court said, I feel like it's the right message was sent, or at least it's the step in the right direction. So you brought up the individual that was 18 months and $25,000 in fines. I think it's a step back in the right direction with all of that. And hopefully it sends the message that you can't do this and think that nothing's going to happen to you. So
yeah. And same thing that I said last time. It's like crying wolf, bro. Like you can't say these things because it's going to hurt people in the future. Like these young ladies that are actually abducted and actually trafficked, and they telling their story, and it's gonna be like, okay, are you telling the truth? Because Carlee said, you know what I'm saying? Like, because it doesn't help young ladies in the future who actually go through these things, regardless of because it's so many young ladies that cry wolf. Same thing with the whole Trevor Bauer situation. If you heard about that, the young lady was trying to get his bread, and she cried assault and ended up ruining it for her. She ended up telling on herself in court, and he came out and said, you know what I'm saying? So it's so many stories that are coming out that is like crying wolf, and it's not good for future people or even people in the past that have gone through this, because now it's like, dang, like, is anybody telling the truth at this point? So hopefully, like D-Lo said, they send the right message to her, and it comes out to where it's like, you're not gonna be able to do this and get away with it and not have some kind of repercussions to what you're doing. So I really hope, and I hope I don't ruffle no feathers. And if I do, I don't give a damn. I really hope she go to jail. I really hope she goes to jail.
Yes,
I really hope she goes to jail. And to all the what I'm gonna say 24.6 female followers that watch this show, if you get mad because I said this young lady needs to go to jail, I don't give a damn. I don't care. Whoa. She needs to get charged. She needs to get charged.
Directly. Damn. Why you have to go directly?
Because there are a lot of women that are advocating for her to not go to jail and not get in trouble for this, because they're crying mental health and yada yada yada. And just like D-Lo said in a couple episodes back too, people are using mental health to get away with stuff now. Yeah. We need to hold this young lady accountable because she lied and she did something that she wasn't supposed to do that's going to be detrimental to people in the future who actually go through things like this. So she needs to go to jail. She needs to get charged for this, and she needs to serve her time. Period. So that's how I feel, bro.
Hey, you got it. you got it,
I
bro.
ain't touching it no more.
You got it. Nah. I have no problems with what you said. I have no problems with what you said at all. Yeah, I mean, but it's because it's true. There
Yeah.
are a small pocket or there big pocket. I don't know what that pocket, the size of the pocket actually is, but there are a collection of females that women and maybe even some males, I don't know, that feel like she should
Dr.
not
Umar.
serve. This should not.
When I see
Wait.
you in Alabama yelling, I'm gonna give you a hug and tell you not to do
Oh
that no
wow.
more. Shut your
Okay.
goof ass up, Dr. Umar.
Yeah. So there are individuals. There are a collection of individuals that feel like she should not serve any time for this. Or she should not get any punishment because of mental illness or whatever the case is. And no, wrong is wrong.
Wrong is wrong.
If she does have mental illness, then while she's in jail, she get that address that.
Evaluated. Yep.
Yeah, but no, just because somebody's mentally ill does not mean that they can get away with everything. That's
Fact.
like saying because I'm black, I can do whatever black people can get away with. No, no. If it's wrong, it's wrong. Point blank. Period. So, yeah. Anyway. So, my boy, was it on me or was it on you?
It's on you.
Okay. So Drake released his album For All the Dogs last week.
Yes, sir.
And coming into the album, there were quite a few things to address. He's talked about this will be his last album, and he's going to take a little hiatus from music. He also is one hit away from Michael Jackson. And the speculation was that this album was going to be more rap than the mix between R&B that he's known for. And now it's a lot of beef coming with it. Not beef, but criticism that has come with the album.
Yeah,
controversy, criticism, whatever input that word that you want in there. But it's a lot of it.
It's a lot of it.
It's a lot of it. And so Drake has fired back at his criticizers. Sticks, how you feel about this whole situation? I know I said a lot there, so I'll break it down for you. How do you feel about him being one hit away from number one hit away from Michael Jackson? Then two, how do you feel about the criticism and him and his team firing back at the criticizers?
All right. So to your first question, brother, I feel like it's dope for him to be one hit away from passing Mike on the number one billboards, number one hits on the Billboard charts. I think it's dope.
Tying him, right? Not
tying him.
Yet.
You're right. Tying him. You're right. Tying him. I think it's dope because all in all, Drake is an amazing artist. Drake is an amazing performer. Drake has made amazing music collectively over his career. I mess with Drake. I mess with Drake and his music.
Yeah, we like Drake.
We like Drake. We fuss with Drake. I fuss with Drake.
Yeah.
The best thing that's coming out of this though is that our boy J. Cole from the crib is most likely going to get his first number one Billboard chart for First Person Shooter, which he did with, and that's best song on the album by far to me.
Easily.
Not even a question.
Best song on the album.
In my opinion, best song on the album by far. Because listening to the album, because again, I drive an hour and a half to work every day, Monday through Friday, most times an hour and a half, depending on traffic. And I had a chance to listen to this album front to back on the way to work. And I was like, I don't know how I feel about it. Then I listened to it again on the way back home after work. And I was like, still don't really know how I feel about it. Cause the album didn't start until First Person Shooter, which is the 6th track on the album. The first 5 tracks, ass to me, in my opinion, the first 5 tracks were ass to me. First Person Shooter came on, rocking, going crazy. Because J. Cole has been on a tear when it comes to features after his last album that he dropped. On a rampage, killing everybody's songs. Right. It makes no sense how crazy he's going right now. And we're going to talk about that in a second when we get into the next part of this. So it's exciting to see our boy J. Cole possibly about to get his first number one hit. And it's crazy that this is his first because he's made so much good music that he hasn't had a number one so far. So that's crazy to me. Yeah. But I know why you did that. I get it. But
why do you think I did that?
Because why I think you did that is because he's contending against so many other artists that have more of a profile than Cole. So like your Beyonce's of the world, your Taylor Swift's of the world, your Drake's of the world, your people who have a higher profile and kind of caught, not I ain't gonna say caught up, but they're more mainstream and they go at different
Okay.
there you go.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So so that's the first part of it, because I thought the album in itself as a whole was very mid. Me being perfectly honest. And I mess with Drake. This is nowhere close to not anywhere close to contending with any of his top albums to me. Because there were only, out of 26 tracks, maybe 3 or 4 that I would say I would rock with. But nowadays, that's a good album. To be perfectly honest with you, nowadays, that's a good album. Right. But now to get into the second part of that, as far as the controversy, I'm gonna talk a little bit about the Joe Budden situation, and then go into a little bit of the beef that he's having, that people are saying with Rihanna, because he's saying he was taking shots at Rihanna this whole album. He's been taking shots at Rihanna a lot over his music, to be honest. But Joe Budden came out and said that he had to go back and check and see how old Drake was, because he's making music for children. He's making music for the kids. And he was like, bro, you need to, you're 30, you're about to be 37 years old at the end of this month. You need to make adult music, but you're making music for 20 and 25-year-old children. Because he mentioned J. Cole in that situation where he grew up in the game. He talked about losing his virginity. He talked about not having any role models growing up. And then now he's making music for grown folk. He was like, Drake is making music for children out here in the streets. And Drake had something to say about it. Had a long paragraph that he put on Instagram, was talking about how he was a failed rapper. And now he's in the podcast game because that's where he had to fall back on, because he wasn't a rapper that he, set out to be. And Joe Budden was like, bro, you'll grow up someday. And you can kind of see even in Drake's appearance that he's conforming to a lot of different things in the industry. So I think a lot of the things that has been said about him, that the controversy that is swirling around Drake, is valid. To be perfectly honest, but we're gonna see where it go. What you think, bro?
So as far as him being one hit away from tying Michael Jackson, I think that's well deserved. It speaks to not only the quality of music that Drake has historically made, it speaks to the longevity of Drake and his career.
Truth.
It also speaks to his ability to adapt to the different styles of music that have come along in his career. So I think that's great. I think he's deserving of that. As far as the controversy and for the criticisms of the album, my initial feelings were the criticism was warranted. Because the album, to me, again, is very mid. It's clearly not an album for me. It's not the album that I think the masses intended or thought it was going to be. Like I said in my intro to this segment, I feel like everybody thought it was going to be more of the rapping Drake rather than the singing and rapping Drake, or making music for women and kids.
Because I expected that joint to be a la Take Care, Nothing Was the Same, Thank Me Later. I was thinking I was getting that Drake, but no. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
I mean, no. I expected it to be, what was the last song on his album with 21 Savage that everybody plays?
Let me go look at
that. I expected it to be more of that. I expected it to be more of that song, the first person shooter with him and J. Cole, the whole album rather than one song.
Circo Loco?
Nah. The last song, it's the last song on the Certified Lover. Is it Certified Lover Boy? No. This is the album with him and 21 Savage, that joint album that they had.
It's called Her Loss, but the last song was I guess it's Fuck Me. That's the last song on the track.
That ain't it.
Okay.
It's you know what I'm saying if you played it. But anyway, I expect it to be that song, or if we can't specifically name that song, I expect it to be more of the first person shooter type of music rather than what we got. But again, that's how I felt. That's the type of music that I like to listen to when I think of when I'm anticipating a type of album from some of my favorite rap artists. That's not what we got. And as far as him going back at Joe Budden for the criticism that Joe Budden had, it wasn't even like Joe Budden said he appreciated the album, he liked the album, but then he said everything that you said as far as what he thought the album was going to be and what he sees coming from Drake as of lately. I feel like Drake feels like he's too big to be criticized. And it goes against what we said earlier as far as professional athletes always, may being a bit sensitive to the fact that people are criticizing them and they see so much criticism on an ongoing basis or praise on an ongoing basis. So when somebody of the type of status that a Joe Budden or a Hall of Fame athlete gives them, they go off of them deep in this element, on this situation. I feel like Drake feels like he's too big to be praised because to be criticized, because not only did he come back with some criticisms of Joe Budden, which were facts to a degree, but I don't think you can say somebody's a failure when they go from Pump It Up was I think everybody knows what Pump It Up is. He didn't have the type of career that Drake has had, but he did have a hit song. He did spend some time in the industry, and now he has the number one podcast in the world, basically, is as in the pop culture hip hop space, right? So
and I ain't gonna hold you. I listened to a lot of those mood musics because Joe Budden to me was a very lyrical rapper. He wasn't a bad rapper. He didn't have the career he probably wanted to have, but Joe Budden was a good rapper. I fucked with Joe Budden. He
didn't have the machine behind him that Drake had. And
very
when I say
true.
The machine,
very
like
true.
Drake is
very
all
true.
marketing. I'm not going to say Drake is not a good artist because he definitely is.
But it's very
he is an artist, right? When I say artist, he's not, like you said, Joe Budden is lyrical. Like Drake can get lyrical, even though it's not always his pen that does the lyrics. But he also can give you that entertainment aspect of it with the singing. He acted briefly before he got into it. So he has all of that going for him. He has all that going for him. And that wasn't necessarily Joe Budden. But I believe now that Joe Budden's in this new space of podcasting, he's understanding all of that and what it takes to make yourself be the type of acts that are the Michael Jacksons of the world, or the Drakes of the world, those type of people, except he's doing it now in podcasting. But so not only was that criticism, I think the reason I say I feel like Drake is too big, he feels like he's too big to be criticized, because not only did he come back with criticisms, his dad also comes back with criticisms. Various members of his team come back with criticisms of different people that are criticizing the album. So I feel like this is him in a way saying, orchestrating, all right, we don't want this type of negative publicity, even though it looks like it's working in his favor. We don't want this type of criticism, so let's combat this. So that's how I feel about it. I feel like the number one song being one away from MJ, well deserved. I think the criticisms of the album are deserved, in my opinion. But then also his criticisms of individuals, he has every right to do what he feels he needs to do for his career. But I feel like he should not feel so big that he can't listen to what everybody says, because realistically, if you listen again to the one that he put his energy into responding to, he really wasn't being very critical of the album. He was just Joe Budden, that is, was talking about, he needs to grow up in the game. And then I have something else too that I'll say shortly.
What you got?
So Stephen A. Smith made me, and the reason why I said my initial thought of this situation of the album and how I felt about it and how Joe Budden said he felt about Drake needing to grow up, I originally felt like it was warranted criticism, but Stephen A. Smith on his podcast, which is self-proclaimed Stephen A. Smith podcast or Stephen A. Smith show, he says that Drake while the music is for younger kids, isn't that what we all do? Don't we all try to appeal to the younger audience to some degree? Because the younger audience gives you more shelf life. And then so I started to think about it. I don't know how many times on this podcast I said that corporations, they try to appeal to kids because not only do you get an ongoing customer, so you'll have a kid for life if you're a good product, but you also have more shelf life with the fact that they'll be willing to spend continuous money on you, which is why Apple is who they are, because they have generations. The younger generation, most of those want iPhones and Apple products. And then our generation wants Apple products because we grew up in that generation. We grew up when Apple took off and they first came out with the iPhone. And so now we always got to have the iPhone, or we always got to have those type of products. But as you get older, you don't want to spend your money on so many of those things because you have more responsibilities that you have to take care of. You have more things you have to do. But in Drake's situation, he is basically like a corporation. So, and he does want to keep his shelf life as long as he can. So appealing to the younger audience, making music for the younger crowd who is more amped to go out every weekend and party and listen to that type of music. That is who he's going to draw to. His appearance is for the younger crowd. Now, it's not for us who thinks that he looks silly and is feminized. It's not for us. It's for them. It's to draw and appeal to them. So and I don't agree with all of that. I don't like how Drake, his appearance is with the barrettes that he has in his head, or whatever those clips, those multicolored clips that he have in his head, his fingernails painted. I don't agree with that. Because now, as my kid, he influences a group of kids crowd that will influence my kids as they grow into hip hop and, be conscious of who they are and how they want to dress. And now I have to sit down and talk to them about why I don't agree with it and why they shouldn't do that. But we'll get to that bridge when we get to it. For sure. Or as we always say, it's a conversation for another day. Hey. but I mean, but Stephen A. Smith made me change my stance a bit on how I feel about him making music and trying to draw to a younger crowd, because in the grand scheme of things, we all do it. Even Joe Budden with his podcast, he does it. He tries to draw to a younger crowd because those are the people that may give you more of their time and may give you more of their dollars to receive the content that you have.
That's true, man. And it's, I agree with you in that instance, because that's how, especially us as podcasters or, YouTube channels, the older people get, the less they're gonna watch. So we have to appeal to it. Try to appeal. I know our demographic is 30 to 50 as far as the analytics. A
little bit lower than that now, actually. If you look,
I gotta go back and look. I gotta go back and look. But we're trying to appeal to the generation below us, or a couple of generations below us. Honestly, we're trying to appeal to Sam's generation at some point. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we gotta, so that way our shelf life can be longer. So I mean, we just like a la Stephen A. That is true. We do try to appeal to the younger crowd, so that way we can have have longevity in the game. It is our generation that's looking at the album like, it's not really my type of music. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Whenever you got a song and it was Sexy Red, that turned me off from the rest of the album, low key. I ain't gonna lie. Like but she's that type of artist that's gonna appeal to the ones that want to go out and club and listen to that type of music and get lit. That's the type of music that she makes.
Music.
She makes TikTok music, and she does. So I mean, so you have to appeal to that kind of crowd, because that's where the industry is going. It's more short clips and comments and what's what I'm looking for. It's about your Instagram post, TikTok posts. It's all about all of that, and I get it. But
captions and all that.
Captions. There you go. That's why I say that's why you're my boy. You right there with me.
Captions, but, and
it's about captions
added to reels and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, he's just into it. He's But that kind of does go back to what we said, because if you think about it, just like you said, when we go back to the Steve Smith and the Jerry Judy situation, do you not think that Jerry Judy has the same thought process as Drake to say, I'm above this criticism?
No, so
just by the way he reacted, you see what I'm saying? So
right,
that's all I.
And that's why I said Drake. It's different.
Yeah,
and that's why I said in this situation I feel it's different, because Drake. The reason I feel it's different is because not that he responded, but everybody else that was involved with it in the response of the criticism. So he, like I said, he had his dad and various members of his camp. I even think, even though it was in a playful way, I even think Baby and Drewski got involved with the criticism, right? So Drewski was like, Drake took his song and again, this was clearly a skit. And Baby was, but that's all a part of the subtle, air quotes again, response to the criticism. It's like, man, y'all all talking about this and that, but I'm Drake. And realistically, it is Drake. We can all be critical of it, but he still has 3 songs that are fighting and budding for, or is it 2? Budding for number 1 on Billboard.
3, you know I think. So, you're right. Yeah.
So maybe he is.
And none of those songs are the ones that they're talking about, because even you said Drewski stole his song. You remember the Pet Shop Boys, the West End Girls part of that song, the Eastern Boys, West End Girls. They even came out and said he didn't come at us; he stole our song. But that's not even one of the songs that's fighting for the top. So,
right.
What are you talking about? But go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. I mean, it's just. Maybe he is too big to be criticized, but I mean, nobody's above criticism.
Nobody's above criticism,
especially when it's constructive or when it's rightful criticism. Because if you're not, especially in hip hop, where it seems like, or music in general, where it seems like music is not the same that we used to listen to. So if nobody's criticizing and nobody's saying, all right, listen, I like this, but you could have did that. And if people aren't accepting that, then the music is always going to be stale. And we're, as consumers, are just going to be like, is this what we have to look forward to? You don't really look forward to music anymore. Like the album came out, I knew it was coming out. I was like, okay. And again, I was expecting it to be a rap album, but I wasn't excited. I was like, okay, it'll come out. I'll listen to it when I listen to it.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm into the music. So every Friday I'm going through Apple Music, looking at the browse section. Like, okay, what's new this week? What do I want to check out? What I think it'd be good? And I'll sit there and listen to a whole album if it's an artist that I mess with. So I mean, he's gonna take his hiatus. He said it's for medical reasons. That he's been having some intestinal issues, some problems with his stomach here recently. So he's gonna take time to get that squared away. But this is kind of a la what a lot of artists do anyway. They'll go on a huge tour, drop an album, and take a year or 2 off. That's been like the norm here recently over the past decade. So it's nothing new for it. It's not above reality that he's going to take a little bit of a break. But I don't think nobody's above criticism. The criticism for the album was warranted because it was very, very mid, and I do feel like. I do agree with Joe Budden. He is making music for younger kids, and I want him to go back to, not even go back to what he did in his first 3-4 albums, but I do want him to get out of this mainstream bullshit, because it's like the industry is changing, Drake, and I do want him to get back to the roots of hip hop and just start making music that the masses is well, no, not even the masses, bro. Because the masses like the bullshit that he making now. Not this. I ain't gonna say bullshit, but it's just not what I expect.
We love the kid. We like Drake. And like you said it earlier. We like Drake, but I mean, my only thing is the singing, the melodic Drake is what he's known for. So that type of music I'm fine with, but it's like to me, I feel like it's no real effort in it for him now. But honestly, when you're him making the type of money that he makes on streams, because he's one of the only artists that makes actual money from streams, and then also from touring, what do he have to do? Because I mean, where's the motivation? Because anything he puts out, people can be like, oh, that Drake coming out, let's play it. Let's, you know what I'm saying? So let's go to Drake concert because of who he is. So
yeah,
I said he feels like he's too big and too above criticism. And it might be true, but you don't want anybody on this planet to feel like they're above anything. So
That's true. Yeah, we'll see what happened with Drake, man. But that shit was mid, bro. But getting into the last topic of the day, man, this saga will not go away, and this woman will not stop talking. So Jada Pinkett Smith is out here talking about and embarrassing Will again, bro. Again. She came out, her book is about to come out in a couple of weeks.
Not even a couple of weeks, couple days.
Couple days?
Tuesday, actually, I believe.
October it is the 17th. You're right. So her book is about to come out in a couple of days. And she went on the show, of course, promoting her book. Mm-hmm. And she came out her mouth and said that her and Will have been separated, air quotes, separated since 2016. Mm. My thoughts are, really? Really, Jada? So, D-Lo, do you believe that they are separated? And do you believe that Will thinks that they separated? What do you think about what the hell she said, bro? What's going on with Jada D-Lo, man?
I'm going to go ahead and say, I'm going to go ahead and apologize to you, bro.
What's good, bro?
I think it was multiple times where you were, I don't want to say attacking because that's such a harsh word, but where you were not defending her, you were
criticizing,
very much criticizing her actions when she spoke about Tupac or when she did certain things.
Yeah,
not in Will's favor. And most times I would agree with you, but a lot of times I would take the lighter side of it.
You would give her the benefit of the doubt.
I give her the benefit of the doubt. I no longer am giving her the benefit of the doubt.
Thank you,
something is wrong, really, really wrong with Jada Pinkett. And I hope she is able to receive whatever she's looking for. And I don't think Will Smith is able to give that to her. However, I don't feel like she's telling the truth.
I don't think so either, but go ahead.
I don't feel like they've been separated since 2016. Now they may not be intimate and all of that jazz that comes with it, because I believe she's also been on record to say that Will doesn't satisfy. I don't even.
She went on the Red Table Talk and did say that there's a problem with the intimacy there. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's just hell bent on, it seems like, embarrassing Will Smith,
her husband.
Her husband. But I don't feel like they've been separated since 2016. And the Academy Awards, or the Emmys would say exactly that. Because if you've separated since 2016, if your relationship isn't the way that she is saying it has been since 2016, I don't see a man in any regard going on stage to slap another man and
who is his friend
act how Will Smith acted if y'all are not together. So I don't think, if that's how she feels, I don't think Will Smith feels that way. I also don't think that they may have been separated recently, but I don't think it's been since 2016, because there's no way that he's going to go defend her in that manner, in the manner that he did, especially when he doesn't have that characteristic, or historically that's not been his character to be that type of person. Now, if you listen to Shannon Sharp podcast, Club Shay Shay, when he had Tommy Davidson on, Tommy Davidson said that Will Smith tried to intimidate him when
he was
acting with Jada Pinkett, and he kissed her or something like that. And so Will was in his trailer, like basically trying to bully him, like, what's up?
We're probably going to what's up? Yeah.
But that was behind closed doors. That wasn't in front of the whole world to see. So historically, Will Smith has not been that type of person to do stuff like that. So I don't feel like them not being together since 2016, I don't feel like that's truthful.
I don't think it's truthful either, D-Lo. And it's like, Will Smith was the guy that a lot of people throughout his career, starting from Fresh Prince all the way up to I Am Legend, Concussion, Pursuit of Happiness, like all of these movies that he's done, he was the guy. Will Smith was my favorite actor at one point. He was a guy that I looked up to, like, yo, this is who I want to be like, low key. And I feel like it just feels like, and I'm not saying this is what Jada is doing. What I think Jada is doing is she's searching for a way to stay relevant because she doesn't have anything else. Without
just
Will,
say it, bro. She's searching for a way to stay profit. She's searching for a way to profit off of this.
Well, yeah, I was getting to that. I was getting to that. But within that relevancy, she's searching for a way to stay profitable because with everything that she's saying, it has to be inevitable that this marriage is about to be over. I actually hope for Will's sake.
Everybody does.
I actually hope for Will's sake that this shit is over ASAP. Because I think
everybody does.
But it's been so much that she's been, and again, she's searching for a way to stay relevant and a way to profit off of this marriage. Because there's no way that this man agreed to or was under the understanding that they were separated for the past 7 years because of the way he went up and screamed out, "Keep my wife's name out your effing mouth." The way that he was emotional on that Red Table Talk when he was talking about the entanglement with August Alsina, the way that he was embarrassed at the things that she was doing behind closed doors as far as recording him when he didn't want to be recorded in his own home because his social media presence is his bread and butter, in his own words. Like, it seems like she's trying, and this is just alleged, of course, but it seems like the way she's acting in public, it's like she is trying to find any way to tear this man down. And she's been recorded on her own show that she didn't want to be married. She didn't want to be married. And you can tell. You can tell.
Well, hold on. Wait. No.
Oh, go ahead. What's up?
Didn't want to be married. Maybe she didn't want to be married to Will. But she did recently say, which is new to us.
Yeah.
I didn't know this. That Tupac
proposed to her when he was in Rikers. Yeah.
So, yeah.
And did she also say, yeah, if I would have said, yeah, I'm gonna get married to you, and I got married to him, he was gonna leave me as soon as I got out of. Like, yeah, she didn't want. You're right. She didn't want to be married to Will Smith. She didn't. Yeah. She didn't want to be married to Will Smith. But her mom, quote unquote, forced her to get married because she was pregnant with Jaden at the time. So she was like, yeah, just go ahead. But she said she never wanted to be married to, she said she never wanted to be married, but it's starting to look like, just like D-Lo said, she never wanted to be married to Will. Yeah. But, and not to say that Will is innocent in the situation, because it has been said that he had his own transgressions too within the marriage, and they have been known, widespread. And she said it was a rumor that has never been, but I don't believe it, because she went on a show also saying that the biggest rumor that she can't believe is that they've been known as swingers. But that's been a thing for a long time. Everybody thought that they were, but they were just in an open. I just feel like they were in an open marriage, in an open relationship, so to speak, that she could do her thing, he can do his thing, and they were finding a way to make, just like Will said on the Red Table Talk, they were, you go your way, I go my way. You find a way to make yourself happy, I'm gonna find a way to make myself happy, and we'll come back together. That was the separation that he thought, but she made it sound like they were almost divorced.
Yeah, but if you think about what you just said, as far as what Will said, what the speculation and rumors are, because sometimes there is truth in the rumors. If you think about it that way, maybe they have been separated since 2016, not living in the same house. Because I mean, if he said that, like, you go your way, I go mine, and you find whatever makes you happy, and then there have been rumors and speculation about him having transgressions, and now we know about August Alsina and whatever else there is that she's done. Maybe they have been separated, but you would think that, especially with the paparazzi and how news moves around Hollywood, while there are a few couples that keep their relationships private or able to, keep all that information out. A couple like Will Smith and Jada Pinkett, who were once looked at, which I'm sure everybody that said it is now like, ugh, that once were looked at as couples goals. I'm sure like that, something like that.
That Will and Jada love.
Yeah, that would have been wide. Yeah. J. Cole. Yeah. That ain't Cole. He took an L on that one.
L on that. And somebody else took an L too, but I'm gonna say that in a second.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, maybe it is true that they have not been together since 2006 in the same house since 2016. But my question is, so if we're speculating about that, and if it is true that they are not together, what's keeping them together in legal terms? What's keeping them together as far as all those kids are older than they don't live in a house. So why are you legally tying to marriage? But see, this is the thing. I'm answering my own question. So she's also said that you said she didn't want to be married. She's also said that there is nothing that will allow her to divorce outside of something that she ultimately really can't handle. That doesn't make sense to me. Like, if you're going to be separated and neither of you like really want anything to do with each other, why? I mean, I know the marriage vow says in sickness and health till death do us part, but if you're not happy in a relationship or in a marriage, so much to the fact that you haven't been together, quote unquote, since 2016, we're in the year 2023. I mean, I can't wrap my head around why you're not legally divorced.
It is hard to understand, but I mean, I think the better vow that you should have referenced there was for better or for worse. But neither here nor there. You said in sickness or health, but either way.
Oh, till death do us part. That you're correct. You're correct.
For better, for worse, sickness. For better, for worse, until death do us part. But you're right though, because I said it was the kids, but Jaden ain't been in that house since he was 15 years old. He was like, "Yo, I can't stay here to be myself. I gotta go. I can't be in this household." It's got to be for a 15-year-old kid to say that. It's got to be volatile as hell in that household, because he said he couldn't stay in that house past 15 years old. Willow has been having an identity crisis, and she's had anxiety a lot since she's been a kid and now going into her adult years. Like,
I mean, but you can't. I hate that I always cut you off, but
no, go ahead.
You can't always put it. I won't say you can't always, but I don't think we can necessarily put that on the marriage itself. It is a lot to live up to when you have parents that are Will and Jada Pinkett Smith, Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith that have had success in the industry. Yeah. And then like Will Smith, like you said, at one point in time, I believe he was everybody's favorite actor. Multiple movie star, movies role model, that made over $100 million, gross $100 million and all that, so on and so forth. So, or box office smashes. And so, you know, when you have those type of parents and then you get into the entertainment industry as well, it's a lot that's put on your plate that you may not have thought that was going to be there when you first entered. And now that it's here and everybody's comparing you to this and that. So mentally, it's a lot that you have to do. Now, as far as the Jaden, and that's for Willow, because I know Willow, I don't think she necessarily wanted to, when Whip My Hair came out, I don't think she necessarily wanted to, you know, she thought it was going to be what it turned out to be, and she would be pushed into the spotlight just like that. And then, you know, the type of parent that Will says he is in his book. So, I mean, I wouldn't contribute Willow's anxiety. I don't know. This is speculation. I'm just combating a little bit what you said. I wouldn't contribute that to the marriage. That could be her stepping into the entertainment industry and then Will really pushing her. The Jaden one, now that's kind of like, if you say you can't live in the house, that's like, all right.
But it's like, I got to get up out of here. But I mean,
something ain't right.
I just
at that
at 15. But I just think I just feel like, man, that Jada Will gotta leave, bro. He gotta leave, man. And if the speculation back in 2015 is that he was dating Margot Robbie, she's single. Will for what I've researched, she's single. If he was back 8 years ago with Margot, She's an attractive young lady. They did in focus. They had a chemistry.
They did have a chemistry.
And it was a lot of
that was 2015.
2015 that movie came out. Yeah. But see, so 2015 that movie came out, and there was speculation around Margot Robbie. And then she comes out and saying in 2016 that they were separated, that they're mutually separated from each other. But in the 2017, Will puts out this long post on Instagram, showering her with love, calling her my wife. This whole anniversary thing that he put on Instagram, saying love is like gardening. I have to learn to focus and helping you blossom into what you like. This long post talking about their marriage. And it's like, who is delusional here? Is she delusional and he naive? Which one is it? Because I
think it's a little bit of both.
It is both. It is 100% both.
He's delusional and naive. I think she's delusional at the fact that
she delusional.
Whatever she's chasing with this Tupac situation, man. I think she's very delusional with that. Mm-hmm. But now that you putting all this evidence in front of me, I think I'm changing my mind. They may actually have been separated since 2016, because if you think about it, and we just said he's delusional and naive, you always see him around her birthday, around their anniversary. You always see him, as of lately anyway, you always see him put out these well thought out, loving posts about her.
You give her the benefit of the doubt again.
No, I'm not giving her the benefit of the doubt. I'm saying that I think she is literally the downfall. Crazy. She's been like the downfall of Will Smith as of lately. But I'm saying they may actually have been separated because, and she's still, and they could be separated and not legally be separated, and she could still be trying to profit off of this situation. Mm-hmm. I still feel like that, but they may actually have been separated since 2016. Because like I said, he's always putting something out, loving about her and all that. You never see her do anything like that.
Yeah.
So
never.
Maybe
that's true.
Maybe whatever happened first on his end may have hurt her, and then so in turn she tries to hurt him, and it's just like her get back has been the get back of all
astronomical.
but
astronomical.
But now he's like, okay, I want this. I don't want to get a divorce. She's saying she doesn't want to get divorced, but we're not seeing that. That's not where her actions are producing, and so now. It's like, okay, so in order for me to get her back, I got to show these grandiose gestures of love, and show my affection to the world about her. Where she's like, man, I ain't with all that, bro. We can stay married legally, but we gonna remain in separate houses.
Yeah, and we've already talked about on numerous occasions how Will Smith is, as far as he wants everybody to like him and love him.
Right,
like he's that type of guy. That's his personality. Like he goes above and beyond to be the best version of himself. Period.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say this, and this is the last thing I'm gonna say. We already mentioned that J. Cole took an L with the Will and Jada love line in his song, bro. But it was somebody that I was listening to this morning when I went to go get my coffee. Thank you, babe.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Joyner Lucas. And he got that song, Will.
I'm feeling like Will.
I'm feeling like Prince. I'm feeling myself. He had a line in that song in the first verse, in the first 30 seconds, that said, I want to get married, but none of my shorties remind me of Jada.
Well, in his defense, wait. Listen.
What?
In his defense, when did that come out?
2020.
2020 is when it came out. In his defense, before that, all of this stuff that has come out with her, about her and their relationship, was not really as public as it is.
Neither was J. Cole's song.
Okay, well, that's but okay. Yeah.
So if J. Cole took an L, so did Joyner.
You're right.
He can't feel like that now. Because I know he don't want no shorty that he got in his life want to remind him of this motherfucker here. Ain't no way.
You're right.
Ain't no way. Bruh, I was listening to this, and I didn't notice it prior to now. And I was sitting there bopping. I'm feeling like, well, I'm feeling like a prince. I was bopping, and I heard, I said, oh, rewind. I said, rewind. Yeah. I said, and I went and looked it up. I said, when did this song come out? Okay. So I was like, bro,
Yeah.
ain't no way. So I know Jordan is like, fuck.
So
Damn,
talking
I really
about
said that.
criticism though, talking about criticism and how people, especially professional athletes and people of high status, take that. How do you think she's feeling seeing all of this? Like you went from I want to be a part of a relationship like Will and Jada to Jada Pinkett Smith is the downfall of Will Smith. They don't need to be married, and she's crazy and she's delusional. How do you think she feel? You think she
I think
cares?
she. Nope. I think
She
she's.
gotta
I think she
care.
feel like. I think she feel like she above. If she cared, D-Lo, she wouldn't be on this tirade that she's on, bro. I feel like just like you said, Drake feels like he's above criticism. Jada feels the same way because the way she's going on this tirade of interviews and the shit that she's saying and what she's doing and the shit that she's outing in their relationship, she don't give a fuck. As long as she stays relevant and she profits off of this relationship, she don't care. G. She don't care.
Yeah.
She don't give a damn. Ain't no way she does.
Oh man, that's crazy. That's crazy.
It's crazy to think about, man. But Will, you gotta go, bruh. Margot is on the market, bruh. Go get her.
Margot is on the market. Damn.
Margot is on the market. Go get her. But anyway, that's a lot.
Man, damn. Well, I mean, we talked about quite a few things. A lot of drama today.
We did.
A lot of drama today. Yeah,
we did.
But, I mean, episode 40.
Episode 40.
Realistically, it's 41. Realistically, it's 41. But since we couldn't put out 40 last week, episode 40 in the books, my boy.
0 in the books.
Yeah, man. We want to thank you all for tuning into Too Complex. Remember that life is short and oftentimes complex, but when it does get complex, lean on those individuals that you love the most that help bring you sanity and clarity in life. Stay prayed up in this crazy world that we live in. A few prayers sent above can rain down a lot of peace and sanity. Thanks for loving and supporting our podcast. We appreciate it, and we're sending the love right back to you. Don't forget to subscribe on all of the social media platforms that they are. We have Instagram, TikTok, Threads, as well as YouTube, most importantly. So make sure you like and subscribe to our channel.
Yes, sir.
Also, subscribe to wherever you listen to your podcast. And remember, I'm going to put this in this week because I haven't done it in a while. If it ain't too complex, it ain't complex at all. Again, we appreciate y'all support. Until next time. Salute.